Good afternoon and welcome to our Assessment Reform Week, The Essentials. I'm Frances Sparrow and I am the subject lead for computer science here at AQA. This presentation will give you our Reform Week Essentials specific to computer science. If you'd like to join the Slido using this QR code, and we'll have a couple of polls during the course of this and some Q&A that you can add to as well. So we're here as part of Assessment Reform Week to talk you through everything that you need to understand assessment reform and all in one place. So across this dedicated week, we're going to explore what these changes mean for learners, for subjects, and for schools. So far this week, there's already been a kick-off webinar, which has looked at reform more generally and what it means for you. And yesterday there was a video podcast, what reform means for schools. This was a real conversation with school leaders on what really matters now. And then today are all the subject-specific webinars with subject focus updates that will help to answer some of the key questions, what this reform will mean over the coming years. We've still got more to come the rest of the week. Tomorrow, you'll be looking at what you need to do now or what you don't need to do just yet. And then on Friday, we'll be part of the Festival of Education, focusing on getting teachers involved in assessment reform with live teacher panels. So the process of assessment reform is underway. Began last year with the Curriculum Assessment Review, which came out in November. And the DfE are currently taking what was in that and drafting subject content for computer science, among other subjects. And our role is to engage with the DfE and with Ofqual to sort out the different arrangements that we need for educational reform. So to let you know how this works, the DfE are currently working on the subject content for each of the subjects. That is what will be in the curriculum. And then Ofqual will work on how that is assessed, the assessment side of things. And the Curriculum Assessment Review laid out different changes for different subjects. But there are some key things. And one of the key points is the fact that these changes are meant to be evolutionary and not revolutionary. There's lots of things happening in the space, but if we seem like we've been a bit quiet, we are doing a lot of things. There are particular developments, for example, digital exams, financial education, PSHE, citizenship, and all of those things are underway. Currently within computer science, we are engaging with the DfE on draft subject content to ensure that it supports good assessment and good teaching and learning. And we've also begun engagement with Ofqual on how we will assess the assessment arrangements. And we are taking teacher feedback and reflecting that feedback with all of these conversations. What does and doesn't work well in the current qualifications, for example. There's also, we also don't have all the information from the DfE yet. So some things are not confirmed, and some of that is the timing of the consultations and which subjects are in each phase of the consultation. We do know some things about the rollout across the curriculum and the GCSE and some dates. So having a look at this timeline for reform, we can let you know in general the phases that have been released. As I said, we don't know which subjects will be in each phase, but you can see from this that the first phase GCSEs will be First Teach 2029, second phase First Teach 2030, phase 1 GCSEs First Assessment 2031 and phase 2 2032. So we're expecting the consultation on the national curriculum to begin in September of this year, with the final curriculum being published in 2027. First teach of the new Key Stage 3 curriculum in September 2028. So you're probably thinking about your Key Stage 4 and 5 and also your A-levels. And depending on the phasing, you can see when they will be taught and when they will be first assessed. The A-level subjects will follow the same sort of pattern as the GCSEs. And so first phase subjects will be first examined in 2033 and phase 2 subjects in 2034. It is a lot of information to get your head around, and the dates and timings will depend on the phase that computer science fits in. We obviously are working with Ofqual and with the DFE on this, but this is the information that has been released by the DFE so far. So a quick poll. How much do you understand about what assessment reform could mean for you? So moving on to talk about the specifics of computer science. First thing to say is some of the general things that are in the offing. First of all, we are refreshing the curriculum to give greater clarity about what should be taught at each key stage to help students build essential digital literacy for life and work. We are introducing artificial intelligence, so there will be new content on AI to prepare students for digital future opportunities. GCSE computer science is becoming GCSE computing. And the qualification will broaden to widen its appeal. It will introduce AI and the effective critical use and creation of technology to meet society's needs, whilst retaining core computer science principles such as the programming and algorithm. There will be aligned digital content, so digital skills that are taught in other subjects will be coordinated with the computing curriculum to ensure that there is coherence for teachers and students across subjects. Future qualifications, there is also work underway to explore a new level 3 qualification in data science and AI. And the idea behind this is to meet some of the future needs that have been identified by the government. So as mentioned earlier, we are keen to hear your views so that we can ensure they're reflected in our conversations with the DFE and Ofqual. Through those discussions, we are getting insights from you, from our teacher panels. We know there are several key topics highlighted in the curriculum assessment review and the government responses to it that matter to you. And today is an opportunity for you to share your perspectives. So one of the key topics that has come up as part of our teacher panels is assessing the right things, not overloading. The DFE are broadening GCSE computer science qualification that reflects the entirety of the computing curriculum whilst continuing to uphold the core principles of computer science, such as programming and algorithms, and exploring the development of a level 3 qualification in data science and AI. To ensure pupils develop essential digital literacy whilst retaining important computer science content, there will be a need to remove content in order to create space for AI. We don't want to increase demand on teachers and students. Teachers have told us they support less content in more depth, and content should balance depth and accessibility. There is a desire for more accessibility rather than excessive challenge. There are, however, some delivery and system constraints. There is concern over the shortage of specialist teachers and lack of confidence teaching programming. More investment is being made in the National Centre for Computing Education, NCCE, equipping teachers to confidently teach digital literacy and AI and improve their schools' computing provision. Any reform must be deliverable in real classrooms. Do you agree? And what are the potential pros and cons? The second point that was raised is relevance to the real world, modern world. We want to equip students with the knowledge and skills required to understand and use emerging technologies in their future studies and careers. To keep things relevant, we will consider emerging technologies and how to keep pace with change in this fast evolving space. All young people should be equipped with the valuable digital and AI skills that are essential for their future. And the DFE wants to bolster the pipeline of digital talent by encouraging more pupils to consider computing qualifications. They want more young people to secure high-value skills for the future and cement the UK's position as a global leader in AI and technology. This includes the possible introduction of this new Level 3 qualification in data science and AI. There is a demand for more applied knowledge and skills in the curriculum, including digital and media literacy. Creative thinking should be clearly described and emphasised. We need to include AI literacy, how to use data to complete tasks and solve problems, know about bias in technology and media literacy. Do you agree? What are the potential pros and cons? A third point is consistency, continuity, and coherence across the curriculum. We agree that the computing curriculum should be the main vehicle for teaching about digital literacy, whilst retaining important computer science content. In doing so, this will provide more pupils with valuable digital skills that are essential for the future. The new curriculum will teach pupils how computers can be trained using data, AI literacy, how to use the data to complete tasks and solve problems, as well as learning about bias in technology, and it'll ensure pupils develop essential digital literacy. Financial media and digital literacy are to be embedded into the revised curriculum. In some other subjects, digital methods are now used in teaching, and tools and methods will be assessed to decide whether they should be included and required in the new curriculum for those subjects. And this will be aligned with the computing curriculum to avoid duplication of topics. For example, in art, the DFE supports the teaching of a broader range of media, including digital media, while maintaining the importance of drawing and painting. So now is your opportunity to ask questions. So I can answer some of your questions. Okay. So first question, will the assessment differentiate between students for their computing knowledge and ability rather than areas of potential SEND, e.g. penalising minor errors in spelling of command words? This seems petty when a student is stressed, has a known difficulty, and could cause a grade boundary difference. Absolutely. So already our marking guidance for AQA's GCSE, which is available on our website, talks about this, the fact that currently GCSE coding, I'm presuming you mean the command words in coding, are incorporated, are being handwritten. And so we do have guidance that misspellings within the keywords for coding are not penalised, so long as it is obvious what the word is. So if you've 2 letters round the wrong way or something, that would be absolutely fine. We would intend to continue in that area. However, you may be aware as well that we are keen to encourage progression to digital exams, on-screen exams, and there is currently a consultation with Ofqual about this, which is due to report later this year in the autumn, about how to progress to digital exams and on-screen exams. So should that then come into play, then obviously some of these issues will be taken away and will be a huge benefit to candidates with SEND. The next question is, the current GCSE is often viewed as hard and nationally student uptake is declining. What is being done to ensure the new GCSE is not just computer science repackaged? One of the things that the DfE and ourselves are keen to do, and this came out of the curriculum assessment review, is to make GCSE applicable or accessible or even desirable to a wider audience of students. So we don't have, the DfE have not published the subject content yet, but our expectations are very much around this being something that will be much more open and desirable to students. So yes, so that is what is being done to ensure that. A-level computer science content also needs an overhaul to keep up with global changes. When will that happen? So we don't yet have any information on the DfE, from the DfE, about the A-level computer science. However, once changes have been decided on for the GCSE, it does seem natural that some changes will be needed to the A-level. Our A-level specifications and the subject content was defined by the DfE a very long time ago. And with computer science being a rapidly evolving subject, I think that it's very likely that there will be some updates in the future. However, we don't have that information yet from the DfE. So there is a poll now. How clear are you now on what assessment reform could mean for you? We are working with teachers to create every single one of our products, and we are already working with many of you on the new qualifications, and we want to make it easy for you to contribute to those conversations. We are running a series of teacher panels where you can be part of a trusted group that informs and guides the development of our qualifications. If you want to share your expertise and answer subject-specific questions and contribute to the insights that are shaping our direction, please join our teacher panel. We will provide you with everything you need to make these changes and be successful in your school with the new curriculum. And most importantly, that your students will be successful too. So thank you very much for your time. And I look forward to seeing you perhaps in some of the rest of the week.